All right, today we are diving deep into the work of Alina Chamberlain to talk about a pretty powerful idea, taking back the reins and claiming total sovereignty over your own pleasure. And this isn't just about feeling good, you know? It's about turning your intimate life into a real source of health, harmony, and, yes, power.
And this quote right here, this is the heart of the whole philosophy. It's this shift in thinking, this idea that real fulfillment doesn't just happen to you. Nope. It's something you have to consciously and skillfully build. It's about going from being a passenger to being the architect of the exact intimate life you want.
So that's the big question, right? It's one thing to want to be the architect, but it's another thing entirely to actually have the blueprints. Well, that's what we're going to map out here, a step-by-step guide to claiming that power.
And look, the stakes are incredibly high. In this way of thinking, unfulfilled pleasure isn't just some small frustration. It's seen as a kind of energetic stagnation that can actually bubble up into resentment and even physical problems. But on the flip side, ecstatic fulfillment, well, that's framed as a vital ingredient for your health and harmony.
So the crucial point is this. A woman's orgasm is seen as way more than just a fleeting physical sensation. It's framed as this fundamental, energetic force that literally fuels her well-being, her youthfulness, and even the whole emotional vibe of her home.
Okay, so where do you even start on this journey? Well, probably not where you'd expect. We're not starting with physical techniques. It all begins with the inner work, your mindset, and how you communicate. Because, let's be real, you can't build something new using old, broken tools.
Let's talk about one of the biggest roadblocks identified in the source material, the mother-child dynamic. You know what I'm talking about, that pattern of nagging, criticizing, or complaining when your needs aren't being met. This approach, we're told, is at total dead end.
And you can really see the difference here, can't you? The old dynamic on the left, it just triggers defensiveness, disconnection. But the new dynamic on the right, that comes from something called inspirational feedback. And it's a total game changer. It's about guiding with positivity, highlighting what did work and what you absolutely loved. And this is how you do it. Instead of creating a conflict, you invite him on a quest. You're not just demanding something, you're framing your needs as this collaborative adventure. And by doing that, you're tapping into his hero instinct, that innate drive to feel competent, to be the one who succeeds. You're motivating him to want to be the hero of this mission.
So once the mindset starts to shift, we move from the inner work to the outer work, the body. Because according to this philosophy, pleasure is also a physical skill, one that you can practice and perfect.
I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You can't give someone directions to a place you've never been. So the first step has to be self-exploration. It's about mapping out your own unique sensitivities, really understanding your anatomy, and maybe even freeing your body from old resentment that could be holding it back.
And a huge piece of that map is a muscle you might not even know you have, the bulbospongiosus muscle. Just think of it like the engine for your arousal. The source material argues that if this muscle is weak, well, it's like an engine that just can't get enough gas.
So how do you work this muscle out? Well, it's a 4-step process. First, you have to learn to isolate those pelvic muscles. Then you practice regular contractions. Over time, as step 3 shows, this increases blood flow and sensitivity. And the final application? Well, you can use this newfound muscle strength to actively grip your partner, which creates a sensation that's described as, well, incredibly intense for both of you.
All right, now for a crucial tactic, pattern interruption. We all know that male and female arousal can move at very different speeds. This is about you taking control of the pace. When you sense he's getting close a little too soon, you intentionally slow things down, or maybe switch to a different kind of touch. This lets your arousal levels synchronize, which is key for mutual satisfaction.
So once you've got the inner game and the outer game working, it's time to bring it all together and totally redefine the dynamic of the partnership itself, moving toward that real synchronization.
Okay, this next idea is really interesting and honestly a little radical. To break those old, unfulfilling habits, it's suggested that you might need to temporarily step into the role of the sovereign egoist, a time where your pleasure becomes the one and only objective.
Now hold on, this isn't about being selfish in a bad way. Think of it more like hitting the reset button. It's a healthy reboot for the relationship. It's a tool to re-educate both of you, making it crystal clear that her biological needs are equally important and that her fulfillment is a primary goal.
And one of the most practical ways to actually do this is with dedicated sex stays. This structure gets rid of any guesswork or what the source calls laziness. On his day, all the energy is focused on him. On your day, all the energy is devoted to your arousal and your finish. Simple as that.
But here's the rule, and it's a big one. On your designated day, his orgasm happens only after yours. No exceptions. It's this discipline that makes the whole thing work. It builds this incredible trust and really elevates intimacy into a sophisticated, shared hobby.
So, you do all this work. What's the ultimate payoff? Well, the rewards are described as being huge, and they benefit not just you, but your partner and the entire family.
Just look at how this all connects. Your fulfillment is said to give him biological rewards, like boosting his immunity. Psychologically, your happiness confirms he's succeeding as a partner, which satisfies that hero instinct we talked about. And for you, the benefits are things like more patience, less irritability, and just an overall feeling of radiance.
And all of this leads to this beautiful, metaphorical idea of a biofield of love. It's like your fulfillment creates this positive, harmonious energy field around you, an atmosphere where your whole family can just thrive.
So the message, when you boil it all down, is about taking charge. Don't be a passive bystander in your own life. The source even suggests that if he happens to finish first, you shouldn't hesitate to finish yourself, right there in his presence. It's about honesty and making sure your needs are always met.
And really, that's the whole goal here, to transform your relationship from just a relationship into a true place of power, a source of mutual energy, health, and that deep, deep connection.
So I'll leave you with a final, very practical question that brings all of this home. Do you have your map? Do you actually know the 3 positions that lead you to your peak the fastest? It's a question worth knowing the answer to.
You can find the electronic version of book She Who Awakens by Alina Chamberlain at wishforlove.org.